Hey guys, Jesus here, and I'm just here to show you a little update on this cannon. First of all, it's my 200 pseudo nuke. Not really an update on this cannon. In this scenario, I watered it a bit better because there was some issues with the watering not being good enough, where this was actually like blowing up and stuff sometimes. So just water this better if you use it. I also said that in the Discord when you download the schematic. Just water this a bit better. But what I'm really here for is to show you some great performance on 117. I might update my server to 117 in the future. I'm not sure about that yet, but I'm running here a local server, Trinity server. We did a few modifications to this jar, not really anything big. It doesn't really improve the performance a lot, but there's some minor changes that help it a bit. Obviously I have a really good computer, so like as you can see, this might be partially because of my PC just being pretty fast, but there is not a lot of lag when you fire this. This is a pretty big cannon. This has obviously this whole power is double pulsed. So this is over 1,000 TNT going off just in this power. Then we have this with a 600, so we have over 1,500 TNT going off. Then the boosters, we have 200 sand flying around. This is no joke. This cannon is very big, very powerful. And now I'm just going to fire this. You can see this took almost no time to fire at all compared to lag on 116. Compared to other cannons, this was insanely fast, incredibly fast. And obviously it took down the sand wall here below the barrel height, what it's really supposed to do. But it's still not real time, sadly. I don't know if we'll ever be able to get it to do real time. You can't do real time on, I think on a lot of cans you could do real time on 1.8. I don't know what kind of optimizations they had in the jar. I know there's a bunch of like entity like stacking stuff, like putting all the TNT into one, and then I'll have to look into that more. Me and some guys are working on optimizing the jar to allow for, well, faster cannons on 116, 117 primarily. But this is already a great improvement from the 116 and from the old times on my cannon. Let's just put the button on this one down here. Yeah. Let's just fire this again just to show. It literally takes like 2-3 seconds to load, which is nothing at all compared to the other load times that we had previously. And look at that. That's fucking fast for a 116 cannon with over 1,600 TNT going off. Like, this is nothing to like, I don't know the saying, sorry. But this is fucking amazing. Obviously 116 cannoning is getting better and better. Now one other reason why I wanted to address this is because there's still a huge part of the community that obviously want to revert cannoning back to 1.8 standards, and there is a large amount of people that want this because they can cannon on 1.8, it works, it's good, it's fast. But I really don't like this for a couple of reasons. The first of all is that just the amount of work that needs to be put into just rolling something back to an old standard because people refuse to change. It just amazes me. It's kind of disgusting, honestly, I think. I really don't like that. But that's fine, you know. But I think 116 has some amazing mechanics that are different from 1.8 that allow for very interesting things. For example, the soul sand. I don't know if they will kind of patch that out as well or kind of merge it, but that will create like a weird meta where 1.8 cannons work with 116 tech, and I feel like it's gonna start getting a bit OP if you have 1.8 kind of performance and range with a concrete cannon, for example. It's going to start getting a bit overpowered, and I don't like that. I think we should rather embrace the new standards. We have a lot of new things like concrete cannons and a lot of new tech with mid-air tunneling downwards and stuff that I haven't shown off yet, but that I discovered, which I'm gonna be working on soon. We have a lot of new tech in 1.16, which allows us to build really strong cannons. It kind of changed the meta up. So what I don't understand is why people go ahead and want to change this back to 1.8, which would allow all the OP cannons to be used again, which then the networks have to implement more and more rules so to manage it, and everyone can just print in and paste in the old 1.8 cannons, the quick prints. And I don't really like that because it requires no skill at all, no understanding. But people will just go and paste the favorite cannons from 1.8 again, and this will not help in any way, you know. And what this really does do is it just adds to this fucking principle of not being able to accept change because your old things work and you're scared to can't perform as well on a new version, which kind of pisses me off, you know, because me and some people, we've been working so hard on these 1.16 cannons, you know. Getting this to work has not been easy. Like, this has taken, not only from me but from some other people, this has taken months to get to this point where we know how to do all the stuff on 1.16, and now there's just these people who already have all their cannons done on 1.8, and they want to revert the servers back. Obviously that's a beneficial for the big servers with payouts because it all stays the same and they're the ones making the big money. But payouts are dying anyways because of the ULA, and servers that keep doing payouts will get overshadowed by bigger servers. So what I'm just wondering is, you know, factions, the principles should stay the same. What it's all about, you know, cannoning, raiding bases. But this is kind of, you know, 1.16 is kind of like a prestige, like a reset. Like, imagine a new season on a server, everyone gets to start over again with the same start. Or like a prestige in a game, you've done it all, and you start over again from scratch and enjoy the same game over again. That's what I really like about this. It's the same fun game again, but with new rules. Well, new rules to cannoning, that is. So all the phases that you had to go through in 1.8, discovering all the tech, coming up with these amazing concepts that no one had ever done before, and building these new cannons, you know, making major breakthroughs. It's all here again in front of you. Right now you can log onto my 1.16 cannoning server, you can start testing stuff, you can talk to other people in my Discord that have built amazing stuff, even way better than this on 1.16. You know, we have Scober there who has been cannoning for years now, who has built, like, months ago he had a 255 nuke on 1.16, something that no one could even dream of. Most people would just say, oh, we can't cannon on 1.16. No, we had adjustable cannons months ago, thanks to him, you know, trying this stuff. And you could be one of the people who discovered this stuff even if you've never cannoned on 1.8, or you were never that good, even if you came way late to the party, or if you were someone who had been cannoning from the very beginning and you've done it all on 1.8, and you've helped discover the groundbreaking tech on 1.8. You can do it all again on 1.16, you know? Get that kind of fresh feeling. So Factions doesn't feel like a chewed out boring game mode anymore where everything's already been done and you just try to do it the best. No, you can do new things, you can discover new tech, and you could be one of the persons that logs onto a server, you know, that has an F-top bases in the millions that haven't changed for weeks, and you could go on there with a new cannon that you discovered that no one knows about and raid them all in minutes, and then that tech you could release it after, you know, get a lot of recognition in the community, and that will set a new standard for cannons in 1.16, and then other people would come along and try to beat that and discover new concepts, which it's really the start of an era. which is, you know, quite amazing to witness with these cannons. And I know it's gotten a bit harder. Some things that you had in 1.8, like one-shot sand or the low power requirements, they don't work anymore. But what you really need to ask yourself is not how do I get back my 1.8 cannons that were so good, but what you need to ask yourself is how can I get similar performance with new concepts. For example, if you think, oh, this is way too much power, I don't like having 1000 power on my cannon, build an anti-grav. It's possible. It might be hard. There's some new things you need to do, because in 1.16 the hitboxes aren't quite the same, but it's possible. You just need to work that out, and then suddenly bam, you are the one person on 1.16, and there's a few servers on 1.16 that you could use this. You're the one person on 1.16 that has a cannon that can shoot 40 chunks and requires like what, 20 power, and you can just go out with that cannon and start raiding bases for half the lag, half the cost. People won't be able to compete, you know. Or say you don't like the hammer requirements. You think, oh, this is way too much hammer. Well, there's new tech on 1.16 that allows you to use less hammer. You can tunnel your hammer to the wall, obviously taking one game tick to travel, similar to a concrete cannon, and that can then allow you to only use about 1.4 hammer per sand instead of the 3 that we use here. Now that's obviously going to be hard again because you need a lot of power for that, but well, there's ways you can, you know, try to optimize that and get it to work. Then you have less hammer, and you need to just find new technologies, you know, on 1.16, 1.17 even. This is 1.17 right now. The good thing is that something like these major changes, something like the flattening which has happened since you know, 1.12, is probably not going to happen again very soon. Mojang doesn't like changing the stuff much anymore. They just kind of add the new stuff, you know. So even between a major version update, between 1.16, which, you know, was just this nether update, and huge performance update, which was probably the reason why a lot of things changed again, and between 1.16 and 1.17, which is the new version, you know, different build heights. You can go down further, you could stack more sand if your server allows you to do so. You know that change, the same cannons still work perfectly fine. So you don't need to be afraid that all of a sudden there's a new relevant version, 1.18 releases, and your cannon doesn't work anymore. That probably won't happen, because the performance update has been 1.16, and I don't think they will change any major mechanics anytime soon. And as I said, greater performance is also coming, so if you're worried about, oh, this needs 1600 TNT for one shot, well, you've just seen it only takes like 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds to load in the shot. And greater performance is on the way. I know people are working on reverting 1.16 cannoning back to 1.8, back to what it was. But other people like me and like some other people are already working on improving the performance on 1.16 in the jar. Like, we're working on writing optimizations with reverse engineering some old cannoning plugins and trying to port some optimizations that they had on 1.8 with 1.16 mechanics, so you could cannon on 1.16 with these new changes and with a great performance. Now obviously this is not easy, you know, we're not anywhere near like professional devs or anything, you know. I never even learned Java. I'm just kind of going at it, seeing what we can do. But it is quite interesting what we've already managed to do. We've already like found major causes of lag. We've already started optimizing like functions and, you know, measuring speed. We've already done shaved off some milliseconds for in an explosion of about 50,000 TNT. I think we've managed to shave off about half a second of the load time, which is nothing amazing, you know, but even squeezing out the tiniest improvements in a already very optimized chart that is Trinity, you know, is quite good. and we'll be working to get major changes, especially in the collision detection. That's where you need the optimizations, you know. That's what we'll be working on in the future. And, you know, along with new canon releases, new concepts that also make this easier by using maybe less TNT or different kind of principles, you know. And I really like this because it takes you back from when cannoning, when Factions was, it takes you back to when Factions was this new game mode of discovery and technology. You did the research, you know, it's almost like some kind of prestige, like I said before, some kind of reset. But with the refined servers and stuff that we had, like spawner stacking and all the base concepts, most of them still work. Regions and stuff, that's still a thing, you know. But the cannons are all new, you know. And for the doubters out there that say Factions is not possible on 1.16, canon is not possible on 1.16, I've already proven you wrong. If you go to my channel, there is cannons on there that can well, take down sand walls in one shot, that can do some other amazing things, like instant hybrid we have on 1.16. We have a cannon that can, I have a cannon that can instant hybrid and double tap in the same cannon, you know. You can bust regions on 1.16. You can go through 10 regions with that cannon that I have, and it's not a big deal. Obviously, if 1.16 faction servers were to go like more competitive with people patching and checking walls, that would require some faster cannons and changes. But if that were to happen, we'd also get the hundreds of cannoners from 1.8 who, as I said, have done it all. Really smart people to discover new things on 1.16 and make those improvements. You don't get, you know, those improvements from 10 people like we have cannoning on 1.16 and discovering new things. That's how you get new concepts and new cannons, you know, but that's not how you get the super high performant cannons required for competitive servers. That comes with the competitive servers starting on 1.16, that you will also have that kind of performance benefits, you know, to the cannons, not to the jar. So people will start developing cannons that can shoot super fast or ridiculous, you know, quantities of cannons, and with that will also come the motivation, you know. If we're not able to do it, if there is a market for 1.16 comp servers that requires these cannons that have thousands of TNT in them, and if we're not the ones who are able to shave off enough milliseconds in our optimizations, you know, we will not sell that stuff. We will make it open source, we will make that public so everyone can enjoy the game they love. We don't want to make a profit, we want to have fun cannoning and playing Factions. And if we're not the ones who are able to do it, but there is a market left for 1.16 servers where you need that kind of optimizations, someone will end up doing it if there's a market for it. My only worry is that they will instead, like some people have already started doing, that will instead try to revert cannoning back to its 1.8 state, which will really just not be very enjoyable on 1.16 because it's all been done already. It will just create this toxic competitive meta where anyone can paste the best cannons and have it be really easy, and it's more about just activity and not about discovering new things and working this stuff out on your own, which I think is really boring. So that's what I'm a bit worried about. So what I want to achieve with this video is just, if you've cannon on 1.8, if you play Factions on 1.8, I know there's no really good servers for 1.16 right now. There will be some, because all the current ones kind of suck. Complex kind of sucks, Herobrine Deadblock kind of suck. God's Network I haven't really played on, but I heard it's like really buggy and bad. But you know, we have the cannoning servers, we have the concepts, and there is people playing on those bad servers that are interested in new cannons. So if you've cannoned on 1.8, or if you're interested in cannoning, if you played on 1.8, or if you're playing on 1.8, check this stuff out. Join like my server, or just make your own like world, or local server for Cannoning 1.16, throw together some nice cannons. Check out my Discord, check out other, there's some other 1.16 Discords, communities, maybe I don't even know of. Check that out, talk to people, find out what kind of interesting stuff we have on 1.16, and there's some, it's not only like more work to improve those old concepts back to a reasonable performance. We also have a lot of like really cool new stuff. Like if you look on my channel, there's the concrete cannons now, so what you can do is have kind of the opposite of a worm cannon on 1.8, what, like with the horizontal stacking tunneling at bedrock level, you can, with concrete nuke, you can now do that at the top of the walls at max height. If they have walls like this, with the sources at the top, obviously, you can now do that. You can tunnel on top of that and stack horizontally on top with concrete, and then you can backstack on top of a roof and tunnel downwards onto a source and roof or whatever. There's new things to discover out there. It's not just getting the old stuff back. So, and this is a really active community, not like 1.8 cannoning where everyone's just kind of doing the same things and everything's already been done. This is the era of discovery, where you can find new things, and I find that really motivating. Just, we have people who are doing all kinds of ridiculous stuff right now that's never been done on 1.16, and it might sound like very normal to you to have like 255 official nuke that works very well and doesn't blow up and is fully adjustable. But on 1.16 there's only like 2 or 3 people who've ever done that. So if you think you have to, what it takes to be one of the people, I don't think there's been a single release for a 255 on 1.16 at all. So you could be the person to release the first 255 on 1.16, and we could be the people who enter this new era of cannoning and get all the fun of discovery and development all over again in 1.16 servers. So what we really need for this to happen, though, is for people to accept that no, some of the old 1.8 stuff will not work. Most of the cannons they already pasting in will not work. They need to do it again. But and there is some limitations, especially right now. But what you will get out of that is also a drawback and a benefit at the same time. If you have the best cannons on 1.8, obviously there is still a second best who gets close to you, and meaning that your cannons don't work also means their cannons don't work. So at the same time that you have to worry about you're not being able to raid a base because your cannons aren't good enough and you need to make better cannons on 1.16, you can also be a bit relieved that on 1.16 there is no way someone can just build a 1.1 second 255 OSB nuke and take down your base, because that stuff doesn't exist. So it's a bit more relaxed. You can just build up your base, have a good time. There will be raid attempts, there will be raids, but it will be much harder for people to raid you. It will be much harder for you to raid people. So what you really need to do is surprise people with new discoveries until we reach that standard of cannons that 1.8 has with the new tech. So it's a much more chill game mode right now, and it's also way more fun because it's not that kind of like super competitive sweaty mode. It will be in the future. It has the potential to be if you like that, but what you need for that is those improvements, those changes. And I find that to be way more fun than just reverting back to 1.8 mechanics again. At what point will factions die if we keep doing that? People will get bored. Everyone who has cannoned on 1.8, has played on 1.8, will get bored, and you won't get new people introduced to the community who are talented, just people leaving. Because if new people want to come to the 1.8 competitive faction community right now, everything's been already done. They'll just get fucked by the best cannons, and they have a really slim chance of ever reaching that level of making a cannon that can even compete, if they even decide to keep playing for long enough in a toxic environment, But you'll get people leaving all the time, you know, people grow up, find jobs, they don't have time anymore, or they just get bored of the game mode and they will leave. So I know Factions is already dying, you know, there's less and less servers, less and less good servers. Even on 1.8 there's less good comp servers. Factions is dying. And what we need to change that is not to port 1.8 changes to 1.8 cannoning to 1.16, because that will just, then that train of dying will just keep on going. Maybe there's a quick revelation of new concrete tech, some stuff, but in general that won't change. So what we really need is for people to start accepting that a change is necessary and switch to 1.16, because this is a new era where everyone can start afresh over again. And if you have the 1.8 cannons, you have the knowledge, you know, you will have an advantage, obviously. But this is an era where everyone can start over again, and this is where we can get new players into Factions, and where the community can start being less toxic, less sweaty, and can start to grow again and accept new players, instead of being that kind of shut off 1.8 sweat Factions community that is really hard to join, you know. And that's what I really want to achieve with this. So, you know, give 1.16 cannoning a try. Check out my other cannons if you're interested what can already be done on 1.16. If you have any ideas, just join up the Discord, talk to some people, you know. Joining a Discord and looking at what people think and what people have done is not that hard, you know. Make an impact. Tell your server that they should switch to 1.16 and that you don't need the cannoning mechanics. Or you know, tell your friends who don't want to play Factions with you because everything has already been done and they don't know how to start playing, where to start. Tell them that it's different on 1.16 and there's a new world out there for people to discover. That's really all I wanted to say with this video. I know I've been rambling for what, 27 minutes now. Jeez, it's been a while. I hope this wasn't too boring for you. Yeah, I've been rambling for a while now, so I think this is where I'll end it. But yeah, and if you are a big 1.8 cannoner or someone who has made a big impact on 1.8, or a YouTuber, some kind of influencer, you know, tell your community that this is how it is, you know, because, you know, it's true. Even if you don't like it and you want to stay in that sweaty meta on 1.8, there's a lot of people who do not like that, and you know, they deserve to know better. They deserve to know that with 1.16 we can have all this fun all over again of discovering new cannons, you know. And what we're really trying to do here is build up a standard for 1.16, build up a community around 1.16 cannoning and 1.16 Factions. So when servers start realizing that they can go to 1.16, there will be a player base for those servers. So servers will go to 1.16, and there will also be people who say, our cannons work on 1.16, you don't need to make things like 1.8 again, we already have working cannons, you can keep it like that, just focus on optimizing it. It's easier for the servers and cheaper, it's easier for us, it's more fun for us, and you know, it makes the game mode more refreshing and not as sweaty and forced. That's really what you would want from playing, right? So yeah, I hope you understand what I was trying to bring across. I hope you enjoyed this little rant of mine. And yeah, I hope to see you on my Discord. I hope to see you on my cannoning server. And I hope you are the next person who makes some nice cannons on 1.16 that haven't been on before. This was Jesus. See ya.